attributed to Shakespeare, but that people have not thought those were. So this is the Instant Shakespeare Company, and our motto is Shakespeare for everyone. And it's all about like exploring a text, going through all of the texts. And sometimes, like this one, it's a text you're less familiar with. So just have fun with it. My name's Paul Sugarman. I'll be doing various messengers and Philemon. And let me just introduce each of the people. Jennifer. And if each of the people could then just say what they're playing, and then we'll get started. And we have Jennifer, and you're okay.
Me, right? Or
Yep. Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, we have two Jennifers here. So starting off, I'm sorry, with Jennifer Hill, please.
Okay, great. So I'm Jennifer Hill, and I'm playing daughter of Antiochus, fisherman one, Lycorita, and then Kate.
Kate.
Because we're using the same screen.
I'm Kate Mitchell. I'm playing Tysa.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Mark.
Yes, I'm playing Simonides.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Rachel.
I'm playing Marina.
Okay. And Jackie.
Oh, I'm Jackie Margolis, and I'm playing Dionysa.
Great.
Is it Dionysa or Dionysa?
Dionysa.
It is Dionysa, so I'm right. Okay.
Dionysa.
And Simonides.
And Jennifer Finger.
I'm Jennifer Finger. I'm playing Cleon.
And Ulysses.
Hello, my name is Ulysses Hayward. I'll be playing the roles of Helicanese and Leonides.
Leonide, thank you. And Kevin.
Hi, Kevin Quinn here, reading Antiochus and Lysimachus. Help me out here, guys.
Lysimachus.
Lysimachus. Thank you. Lysimachus.
I mean, I think that the trick is with these names that we're not sure of the right pronunciation. Pronounce them with confidence, even if you could pronounce it wrong. Do it with confidence, because Lysimachus. I mean, you don't know it, but if you say Lysimachus, then people will think that is the way that his name should be pronounced, which I think it is, but I'm not sure. And Eleanor.
I'm playing Gower, Thaliard, Escanes, Caramon, and Bod.
Okay. And Ben.
Hi, I'm Bennett Pology. I'll be Pericles.
All righty. Then let's begin. I'm going to read I'm not going to read many of the stage directions except when they're sort of explicitly needed for what's going on. But I just want to read what was wrote on the title page of the quarto of this when it was first published. The late and much admired play called Pericles, Prince of Tyre, with a true relation of the whole history, adventures, and fortune of the said prince, as also the no less strange and worthy accidents in the birth and life of his daughter Marina, as it hath been diverse and sundry times acted by his majesty's servants at the Globe on the Bankside by William Shakespeare, imprinted at London for Henry Gossam, and are sold at the Sign of the Sun in the Paternoster Row, etc., 1609.
To sing a song that old was sung, from ashes ancient Gower is come, assuming man's infirmities, to glad your ear and please your eyes. It hath been sung at festivals, on ember eves and holy days, and lords and ladies in their lives have read it for restoratives. The purchase is to make men glorious, et bonum quo antiquus eo melius. If you, born in those latter times, when wits more ripe, accept my rhymes, and that to hear an old man sing may to your wishes pleasure bring, I life would wish, and that I might waste it for you like taper light. This Antiochus, then Antiochus the Great, built up this city for his chiefest seat, the fairest all Syria. I tell you what mine authors say. This king unto him took a peer who died and left a female heir, so buxom, blithe, and full of face as heaven had lent her all his grace, with whom the father liking took, and her to incest did provoke. Bad child, worse father to entice his own to evil, should be done by none. But custom, what they did begin, was with long use accounted no sin. The beauty of the sinful dame made many princes thither frame, to seek her as a bedfellow in marriage pleasures playfellow, which to prevent, he made a law to keep her still, and men in awe, that whoso asked her for his wife, his riddle told, not lost his life. So for her many of white did die, as yon grim looks do testify. What now ensues? To the judgment of your eye, I give my cause, who best can justify.
Young Prince of Tyre, you have at large received the danger of the task you undertake.
I have, Antiochus, and with a soul emboldened with the glory of her praise, think death no hazard in this enterprise.
Music, bring in our daughter, clothed like a bride, for embracements even of Jove himself, at whose conception to Licina reigned, nature this dowry gave to glad her presence. The Senate house of planets all did sit to knit in her their best perfections.
Ah, see where she comes, apparelled like the spring, graces her subjects and her thoughts the king. Of every virtue gives renown to men, her face the book of praises, where is read nothing but curious pleasures, as from thence sorrow were ever racked, and tasty wrath could never be her mild companion. You gods that made me man and sway in love, that have inflamed a desire in my breast, to taste the fruit of yon celestial tree, or die in the adventure, be my helps. As I am son and servant to your will, to compass such a boundless happiness.
Prince Pericles,
That would be son to great Antiochus.
before thee stands this fair Hesperides with golden fruit, but dangerous to the touch, for death-like dragons here affright thee hard. Her face like heaven enticeth thee to view her countless glory, which desert must gain, and which without desert, because thine eye presumes to reach, all the whole heap must die. Yon sometimes famous princes like thyself, drawn by report, adventurous by desire, tell thee with speechless tongues and semblance pale, that without covering save yon field of stars, here they stand martyrs, slain in Cupid's wars, and with dead cheeks advise thee to desist, for going on death's net, whom none resist.
Antiochus, I thank thee, who hath taught my frail mortality to know itself, and by those fearful objects to prepare this body like to them to what I must. For death remembered should be like a mirror, who tells us life's but breath, to trust it error. I'll make my will then, and as sick men do, who know the world, see heaven, but feeling woe, gripe not at earthly joys as erst they did. So I bequeath a happy peace to you, and all good men, as every prince should do. My riches to the earth from whence they came, but my unspotted fire and of love to you. Thus, ready for the way of life or death, I wait the sharpest blow.
Scorning advice, read the conclusion then, which read and not expounded, 'tis decreed, as these before thee, thou thyself shalt bleed.
Of all said yet, mayst thou prove prosperous. Of all said yet, I wish thee happiness.
Like a bold champion, I assume the lists, nor ask advice of any other thought but faithfulness and courage. I am no viper, yet I feed on mother's flesh, which did me breed. I sought a husband, in which labor I found that kindness in a father. His father, son, and husband mild, I, mother, wife, and yet his child. How may they be, and yet in two, as you will live, resolve it you. Sharp physic is the last, but oh, you powers that gives heaven countless eyes to view men's acts. Why cloud they not their sights perpetually, if this be true, which makes me pale to read it? Fair glass of light, I loved you, and could still, were not this glorious casket stored with ill. But I must tell you, now my thoughts revolt, for he's no man on whom perfections wait, that knowing sin within will touch the gate. You are a fair viol, and your senses the strings, who fingered to make man his lawful music, would draw heaven down, and all the gods to hearken. But being played upon before your time, he only danceth at so harsh a chime. Good sooth, I care not for you.
Prince Pericles, touch not upon thy life, for that's an article within our law, as dangerous as the rest. Your time's expired. Either expound now or receive your sentence.
Great king, few love to hear the sins they love to act. 'Twould braid yourself too near for me to tell it. Who has a book of all that monarchs do? He's more secure to keep it shut than shown. For vice repeated is like the wandering wind, blows dust in others' eyes to spread itself, and yet the end of all is bought thus dear. The breath is gone and the sore eyes see clear. To stop the air would hurt them. The blind mole casts topped hills towards heaven to tell the earth is thronged by man's oppression, and the poor worm doth die for it. Kings are earth's gods. In vice their laws their will. And if Jove stray, who dares say Jove doth ill? It is enough, you know, and it is fit. What being more known grows worse to smother it. All love the womb that their first being bred. Then give my tongue like leave to love my head.
Heaven, that I had thy head. He has found the meaning that would glows with him. Young Prince of Tyre, though by the tenor of your strict edict, your exposition misinterpreting, we might proceed to counsel of your days, yet hopes seceding from so fair a tree as your fair self doth tune us otherwise. 40 days longer we do respite you, if by which time our secret be undone, this mercy shows we'll joy in such a son. And until then, your entertain shall be as doth befit our honor and your worth.
Our courtesy would seem to cover sin, when what is done is like a hypocrite, the which is good in nothing but in sight. If it be true that I interpret false, then were it certain you were not so bad, as with foul incest to abuse your soul, where now you both a father and a son by your untimely claspings with your child, which pleasures fits a husband, not a father. And she, an eater of her mother's flesh, by the defiling of her parents' bed, and both like serpents are, who, though they feed on sweetest flowers, yet they poison breed. Antioch, farewell, for wisdom sees those men blush not in actions blacker than the night, will show no course to keep them from the light. One sin I know, another doth provoke. Murder is as near to lust as flame to smoke. Poison and treason are the hands of sin. Aye, and the targets to put off the shame. Then lest my life be corrupt to keep you clear. By flight I'll shun the danger which I fear.
he hath found the meaning for which we mean to have his head. He must not live to trumpet forth my infamy, nor tell the world Antiochus doth sin in such a loathed manner, and therefore instantly this prince must die. For by his fall my honor must keep high. Who attends us there?
Does your highness call?
So, Lord, you are of our chamber, Lord, and our mind partakes her private actions to your secrecy. And for your faithfulness, we will advance you to Lord. Behold, here's poison, and here's gold. We hate the prince of Tyre, and thou must kill him. It fits thee not to ask the reason why, because we bid it. Say, is it done?
My lord, 'tis done.
Enough. Let your breath cool yourself, telling your haste.
My lord, Prince Pericles is fled.
As thou wilt live, fly after, and like an arrow shot from a well-experienced archer hits the mark his eye doth level at, so thou never return unless thou say, Prince Pericles is dead.
My lord, if I can get him within my pistol's length, I'll make him sure enough. So farewell to your highness.
Till our adieu, till Pericles be dead, my heart can lend no succor to my head.
Let none disturb us. Why should this change of thoughts, the sad companion, dull-eyed melancholy, by me so used a guest? It's not an hour in the day's glorious walk or peaceful night. The tomb where grief should sleep can breed me quiet. Here pleasures court mine eyes, and mine eyes shun them. And danger which I feared is at Antioch, whose arm seems far too short to hit me here. Yet neither pleasures, art can joy my spirits, nor yet the other's distance comfort me. And it is thus, the passions of the mind that have their first conception by misdread, have after nourishment and life by care, and what was first but fear, and what might be done grows elder now, and cares it be not done. And so with me, the great Antiochus, against whom I am too little to contend, since he's so great, can make his will to act, will think me speaking, though I swear to silence, nor boots it me to say I honor if he suspects I may dishonor him. And what may make him blush in being known, he'll stop the course by which it might be known. With hostile forces he'll o'erspread the land, and with the stint of war will look so huge, amazement shall drive courage from the state. Our men be vanquished ere they do resist, and subjects punished that ne'er thought offense, which care of them, not pity of myself, who once no more but as the tops of trees, which fence the roots they grow by and defend them, makes both my body pine and soul to languish, and punish that before that he would punish.
Joy, joy and comfort to your sacred breast, and keep your mind till you return to us peaceful and comfortable. Helicanus?
Peace, peace, and give experienced tongue. They do abuse the king that flatter him, for flattery is the bellows blows up sin. The thing to which is flattered, but a spark to which that spark gives heat, and stronger glowing, whereas we prove obedient and in order. Fits kings as they are men, for they may err. When Senior Sooth here does proclaim peace, he flatters you, makes wear upon your life, Prince, pardon me, or strike me if you please. I cannot be much lower than my knees.
All leave us else, but let your cares o'er what shipping and what ladings in our haven, and then return to us, Helicanus. Thou hast moved us. What seest thou in our looks?
An angry brow, dread Lord.
If there be such a dart in princes' frowns, how durst thy tongue move anger to our face?
How dares the plants look up to heaven from which they have their nourishment?
Thou knowest I have power to take thy life from thee.
I have ground the axe myself. Do but you strike the blow.
Rise, prithee, rise, sit down, thou art no flatterer, I thank thee for it, and heaven forbid that kings should let their ears hear their faults hid. Thick counselor and servant for a prince, who by thy wisdom makes a prince thy servant, what wouldst thou have me do?
To bear with patience such griefs as you yourself do lay upon yourself.
Thou speaks like a physician, Helicanus, that ministers a potion to me. That thou wouldst tremble to receive thyself, attend me then. I went to Antioch, whereas thou thou knowest against the face of death, I sought the purchase of a glorious beauty, from whence an issue I might propagate, our arms to princes, and bring joys to subjects. The face was to mine eye beyond all wonder. The rest hearken thine ear, as black as insects, which by my knowledge found the sinful father seemed not to strike, but smooth. But thou knowest this. 'Tis time to fear when tyrants seem to kiss. Which fear grew in me, I hither fled under covering of a careful knight, who seems my good protector, and being here, bethought what was past, what might succeed. I knew him tyrannous, and tyrant's fear decrease not, but grow faster than the years. And should he do it, as no doubt he doth, that I should open to the listening air, how many worthy princes' bloods were shed to keep his bed of blackness unlaid ope. To lop that doubt, he'll fill this land with arms and make pretense of wrong that I have done him. When all for mine, if I may call offense, must feel war's blow, who spares not innocence, with love to all, of which thyself art one, who now reproves me for't.
Alas, sir.
Draw sleep out of mine eyes, blood from my cheeks, musings into my mind with thousand doubts. How might I stop this tempest ere it came? And finding little comfort to relieve them, I thought it princely charity to grieve for them.
Well, my lord, since you have given me leave to speak, freely will I speak. Antiochus, you fear, and justly too, I think, you fear the tyrant, who either by public ware or private treason will take away your life. Therefore, my lord, go travel for a while, till that his rage and anger be forgot, or till the destinies do cut his tree of life. Your rule direct to aim, if to me, day serves now light more faithful than I'll be.
I do not doubt thy faith. But should he wrong my liberties in my absence?
We'll mingle our bloods together in the earth, from which we had our being and our birth.
Tyre, I now look from thee then, and to Tharsis intend my travel, where I'll hear from thee, and by whose letters I'll dispose myself. The care I had and have of subjects good, on thee I lay, whose wisdom's strength can bear it. I'll take thy word for faith, not ask thine oath. Who shuns not to break one will crack both. But in our orbs will live so round and safe, that time of both this truth shall ne'er convince. Thou show'st the subject shine, I a true prince.
So this is Tyre, and this the court. Here must I kill King Pericles, and if I do it not, I'm sure to be hanged at home. 'Tis dangerous. Well, I perceive he was a wise fellow and had good discretion, that being bid to ask what he would of the king, desired he might know none of his secrets. Now do I see he had some reason for it. For if a king bid a man be a villain, he's bound by the indenture of his oath to be one. Hush, here comes the lords of Tyre.
You shall not need my fellow peers of Tyre further to question me of your king's departure. His sealed commission left in trust with me. Does speak sufficiently. He's going to travel.
How? The king gone?
If further yet you will be satisfied, where, as it were, on the license of your loves, he would depart. I'll give some light unto you, being at Antioch.
What from Antioch?
War Antiochus, on what cause I know not. Took some displeasure at him, at least he judged so. And doubting lest he have erred or sinned to shrewd his sorrow, he corrects himself. So puts himself unto the shipman's toil, with whom each minute threatens life or death.
Well, I perceive I shall not be hanged now, although I would. But since he's gone, the king sees must please. He escaped the land to perish at the sea. I'll present myself. Peace to the Lord of Tyre.
Lord Daniel from Antiochus is welcome.
From him I come with message unto princely Pericles, but since my landing I have understood your lord has betake himself to unknown travels. Now message must return from whence it came.
We have no reason to desire it. Commended to our masters, not to us, yet ere you shall depart. This we desire, as friends to Antioch, we may feast in Tyre.
Shall we rest us here, and by relating tales of others' griefs, see if 'twill teach us to forget our own?
Oh, that were to blow at fire and hope to quench it. Well, who digs hills because they do aspire, throws down one mountain to cast up higher? Oh, my distressed lord, even such our griefs are. Here they are but felt and seen with mischief's eyes, but like to groves being topped, they higher rise.
Oh, Dionysa, who wanteth food and will not say he wants it, or can conceal his hunger till he famish? Our tongues in sorrows to sound deep, our woes into the air, our eyes to weep, till tongues fetch breath that may proclaim them louder, that if heaven slumber, while their creatures want, they may awake their helpers to comfort them. Oh, then discourse our woes felt several years, and wanting breath to speak, help me with tears.
I'll do my best.
This Thyrsus, o'er which I have the government, a city on whom plenty held full hand, for riches strewed herself even in her streets, whose towers bore heads so high they kissed the clouds, and strangers ne'er beheld but wondered at, whose men and dames so jetted and adorned, like one another's glass to trim them by. Their tables were stored full to glad the sight, and not so much to feed on as delight. All poverty was scorned, and pride so great, the name of hell grew odious to repeat.
Which is too true.
To see what heaven can do by this our change, these mouths who but of late earth, sea, and air were all too little to contend and please, although they gave their creatures in abundance, as houses are defiled for want of use, they are now starved for want of exercise. Those palates who, not yet 2 savors younger, must have inventions to delight the taste, would now be glad of bread and beg for it. Those mothers who to nizzle at their babes, thought not to curious, are ready now to eat those little darlings whom they love. So sharp are hunger's teeth that man and wife draw lots who first shall die to lengthen life. Here stands the Lord and there a lady weeping. Here many sink, yet those which see them fall have scarce strength left to give them burial. Is not this true?
Our cheeks and hollow eyes do witness it.
Oh, let those cities that a plenty's cup and her prosperity so largely taste, with their superfluous riots, hear these tears. The misery of Tarsus may be theirs.
Where's the Lord Governor?
Here, speak of the sorrows which thee bringst in haste, for comfort is too far for us to expect.
We have descried upon our neighboring shore a portly sail of ships made hitherward.
I thought as much. One sorrow never comes but brings an heir that may succeed as his inheritor. And so in ours, some neighboring nation, taking advantage of our misery, has stuffed the hollow vessels with their power to beat us down, which are down already, and make a conquest of unhappy me, whereas no glory's got to overcome.
That's the least fear, for by the semblance of their white flags displayed, they bring us peace and comfort to us as favorers, not as foes.
Thou speak like hens untutored to repeat. What makes the fairest show means most deceit. But bring them what they will and what they can, what need we leave our grounds the lowest? We are halfway there. Go tell their general we attend him here, to know for what he comes, and whence he comes, and what he craves.
I go, my lord.
Welcome is peace, if he on peace consist. Of wars, we are unable to resist.
Lord Governor, for so we hear you are, let on our ships and number of our men be like a beacon feared to amaze your eyes. We have heard your miseries as far as Tyre and seen the desolation of your streets, nor come we to add sorrows to your tears, but to relieve them of their heavy load. And these our ships, you happily may think, are like the Trojan horse, was stuffed within with bloody veins, expecting overthrow, are stored with corn to make your needy bread, and give them life, whom hunger starved, half dead.
The gods of Greece protect you, and we'll pray for you.
Arise, I pray you rise. We do not look for reverence, but for love and harborage for ourselves, our ships and men.
The which when any shall not gratify, or pay you with unthankfulness and thought, be it our wives, our children, or ourselves, the curse of heaven and men succeed their evils, till when the which, I hope, shall ne'er be seen, your grace is welcome to our town and us.
Which welcome we'll accept. Feast here a while until our stars that frown lend us a smile.
Here have you seen a mighty king, his child he wished to incest bring, a better prince and benign lord that will prove awful both in word and deed and word. Be quiet then, as men should be, till he hath passed necessity. I'll show you those in trouble's reign, loosing a mite, a mountain gain. The good in conversation, in whom I give my benison, is still at Tharsis, where each man thinks all is writ he spoken can, and to remember what he does, build his statue to make him glorious. But tidings to the contrary are brought your eyes. What need speak I? Dumb show. Enter.
Enter at one door, Pericles talking with Cleon, all the train with them. Enter at another door, a gentleman with a letter to Pericles. Pericles shows the letter to Cleon. Pericles gives the messenger a reward and knights him. Exit Pericles at one door, and Cleon at another.
Good Heliton that stayed at home, not to eat honey like a drone from other labors. For though he strive to kill and bad, keep good alive, and to fulfill his prince's desire, saved one of all that haps in Tyre. How Thaliart came full bent with sin, and hid intent to murdered him, and that in Tharsis was not best longer for him to make his rest. He doing so put forth to seize where when men had been, there's seldom ease. For now the wind begins to blow. Thunder above and deeps below make such unquiet that the ship should house him safe is wrecked and split. And he, good prince, having all lost by waves from coast to coast is tossed, all perishing of man of pelf, nor aught escaping but himself. Till fortune, tired with doing bad, threw him ashore to give him glad. And here he comes. What shall be next? Pardon, old Gower. This long's the text.
Cease your ire, you angry stars of heaven. Wind, rain, and thunder. Remember, earthly man is but a substance that must yield to you, and I, as fit my nature, do obey you. Alas, the seas hath cast me on the rocks, washed me from shore to shore, left my breath nothing to think on but ensuing death. Let it suffice the greatness of your powers to have bereft a prince of all his fortunes, and having thrown him from your watery grave, here to have death in peace is all he'll crave.
To pelch.
Ah, come and bring away the nets.
What petch breach, I say.
What say you, master?
Look how thou stirrest now. Come away, or I'll fetch us with a wannion.
Ah, faith, meister, I am thinking of the poor men that were cast away before us even now.
Alas, poor souls, it grieved my heart to hear what pitiful cries they made to us, to help them, when well-a-day we could scarce help ourselves.
Nay, nay, maester, said not I as much when I saw how the porpoise, how he bounced and tumbled? They say they're half fish, half flesh, a plague on them that ne'er come, but I look to be washed. Master, I marvel how the fishes live in the sea.
Why? As men do a land, the great ones eat up the little ones. I can compare our rich misers to nothing so fitly as to a whale, a place, and tumbles, driving the poor fry before him, and at last devour them all at a mouthful. Such whales have I heard on at land, who never leave gaping till they swallowed the whole parish, church, steeple, bells, and all.
Pretty moral.
But, maester, if I had been the sexton, I would have been that day in the belfry.
Why, man?
Because he should have swallowed me too. And when I had been in his belly, I would have kept such a jangling of the bells that he should never have left till he cast bells, steeple, church, and parish up again. But if the good King Simonides were of my mind.
Simonides.
We would purge the land of these drones that rob the bee of her honey.
How from the fenny subjects of the sea these fishers tell the infirmities of men, and from their watery empire recollect all that men may approve or men detect. Peace be at your labor, honest fisherman.
Honest good fellow, what's that? If it be a day fits you, search out of the calendar, and nobody look after it.
May see the sea hath cast upon your coast.
What a drunken knave was the sea to cast thee in our way.
A man whom both the waters and the wind in that vast tennis court hath made the ball for them to play on, entreats you to pity him. He asks of you that never used to beg.
No, friend, cannot you beg? Here's them in our country of Greece. Gets more with begging than we can do with working.
Canst thou catch any fishes then?
I never practiced it.
Nay then, thou wilt starve, sure, for here's nothing to be got nowadays unless you can fish for it.
What I have been, I have forgot to know. What I am, want teaches me to think on. A man thronged up with cold. My veins are chill, and I have no more of life than may suffice to give my tongue that heat to ask your help. Which if you shall refuse, when I am dead, for that I am a man, I pray you see me buried.
Die, quotha. Now God's forbid, and I have a gown here. Come, put it on. Keep thee warm. Now for me, a handsome fellow. Come, thou shalt go home, and we'll have flesh for all day, fish for fasting days, and more, or puddings and flapjacks, and thou shalt be welcome.
I thank you, sir. I did but crave.
But crave?
Why?
Then I'll turn craver too, and so I shall escape whipping.
Why are you beggars whipped then?
Oh, not all, my friend, not all. For if all your beggars were whipped, I would wish no better office than to be beadle. But, master, I'll go draw up the net.
How well this honest mirth becomes their labor.
Hark you, sir. Do you know where you are?
Not well.
Why, I'll tell you. This is called Pentapolis.
And your king is the good Simonides, do you call him?
Aye,
He is a
sir.
happy king since he gains from his subjects the name of good by his government. How far is this court distance from this shore?
Marry, sir, half a day's journey, and I'll tell you, he hath a fair daughter, and tomorrow is her birthday. and their princes and knights come from all parts of the world to just and tourney for her love.
Were my fortunes equal to my desires, I could wish to make one there.
Oh, sir, things must be as they may, and what a man cannot get, he may lawfully deal for his wife's soul.
Help, master, help. Here's the fish hangs in the net like a poor man's right in the law. 'Twill hardly come out. Hey, bots on it. 'Tis come at last, and 'tis turned to a rusty armor.
An armor, friends, I pray you let me see it. Thanks, fortune, yet that after all crosses thou givest me somewhat to repair myself. And though it was mine own part of my heritage, which my dead father did bequeath to me, with this strict charge, even as he said he left his life, keep it my Pericles. It hath been a shield twixt me and death, and pointed to this brace for that it saved me. Keep it in like necessity, the which the gods protect me. Fame may defend me. It kept where I kept. I so dearly loved it, till the rough seas that spares not any man took it in a rage, though calmed. I've given it again. I thank thee for it. My shipwracks now no ill, since I have here my father gave in his will.
What mean you, sir?
To beg of you, kind friends, this coat of worth, for it was sometimes target to a king. I know by this mark. He loved me dearly, and for his sake I wish the having of it, and that you guide me to your sovereign's court, where with it I may appear a gentleman. And if that ever my low fortunes better, I'll pay your bounties. Till then, rest your debtor.
Why wilt thou tourney for the lady?
I'll show the virtue I have borne in arms.
Why'd I take it, and the gods give thee good end?
I but hark you, my friend. 'Twas we that made up this garment through the rough schemes in the waters. There were certain condolements, certain veils. I hope, sir, if you thrive, you'll remember from whence you had them.
Believed I will. By your furtherance, I am clothed in steel, and spite of all the ruptures of the sea, this jewel holds this building on my arm. Unto the value I will mount for myself upon a courser whose delight steps shall make the gazer joy to see him tread. Only, my friend, I yet am unprovided of a pair of bases.
We'll sure provide. Thou shalt have my best gown to make thee a pair, and I'll bring thee to the court myself.
Then honor be but a goal to my will. This day I'll rise, or else add ill to ill.
Are the knights ready to begin the triumph?
They are, my liege, and stay your coming to present themselves.
Return them, we are ready, and our daughter here, in honor of whose birth these triumphs are, sits here like beauty's child, whom nature gat for men to see, and seeing wonder at.
It pleaseth you, my royal father, to express my commendations great, and whose merits less.
It's fit it should be so, for princes are a model which heaven makes like to itself. As jewels lose their glory if neglected, so princes their renowns if not respected. 'Tis now your honor, daughter, to entertain the labor of each knight in his device.
Which to preserve mine honor I'll perform.
The first knight passes by.
Who is the first that doth prefer himself?
A knight of Sparta, my renowned father, and the device he bears upon his shield is a black Ethiop reaching at the sun. The word, lux tua vita mihi.
Ah, he loves you well that holds his life of you.
The second knight.
Who is the second that presents himself?
A prince of Macedon, my royal father, and the device he bears upon his shield is an armed knight that's conquered by a lady. The motto thus in Spanish, Pue per dolira qui per forza.
Third knight.
Oh, and with the third?
The third of Antioch, and his device, a wreath of chivalry, the word, me Pompey provexit epe,
Fourth night.
What is the fourth?
a burning torch that's turned upside down, the word, qui me alit me extinguit.
Ah, which shows that beauty hath his power and will, which can as well inflame as it can kill.
Fifth night.
The fifth, an hand environed with clouds, holding out gold, that's by the touchstone tried. The motto thus, sic spectanda fides.
Sixth night.
And what's the sixth and last? The which the knight himself with such graceful courtesy delivered.
He seems to be a stranger, but his present is a withered branch that's only green at top. The motto, in hac spe vivo.
Ah, pretty moral from the dejected state wherein he is. He hopes by you his fortunes may yet flourish.
He had need meed better than his outward show can any way speak in his just commend, for by his rusty outsides he appears to have practiced more the whipstock than the lance.
He may well be a stranger, for he comes to an honored triumph, strangely furnished.
And on set purpose let his armor rust until this day to scour it in the dust.
Ah, opinions but a fool that makes us scan the outward habit by the inward man. But stay, the knights are coming. We will withdraw into the gallery.
Great shouts, and all cry, the mean knight! Enter the king and knights from tilting.
Knights, to say you're welcome were superfluous. I place upon the volume of your deeds, as in a title page, your worth in arms were more than you expect or more than's fit, since every worth in show commends itself. Prepare for mirth becomes a feast. You are princes and my guests.
But you, my knight and guest, to whom this wreath of victory I give, and crown you king of this day's happiness.
Is more by fortune, lady, than my merit.
Call it by what you will. The day is your, and here I hope is none that envies it. In framing an artist, art hath thus decreed to make some good, but others to exceed. And you are her labored scholar. Come, queen of the fest, for daughter, so you are. Here, take your place. Marshal the rest, as they deserve their grace.
We are
We are honored much,
by
good Duke
Simonides.
Simonides.
Your presence glads our days. Honor we love, for who hates honor hates the gods above.
Sir, yonder is your place.
Some other is more fit.
Contend not, sir,
For we are gentlemen, have neither in our hearts nor outward eyes envies the great, nor shall the low despise.
You are right, courteous knights.
Sir, sit. By Jove, I wonder. That is, king of thoughts, these Kate's previously he is not thought upon.
By Juno, that is queen of marriage. All viands that I eat do seem unsavory. Wishing him my meat, sure he's a gallant gentleman.
He's but a country gentleman. He's done no more than other knights have done. He's broken a staff, or so let it pass.
To me, he seems like a diamond to glass.
You kings to me, like to my father's picture, which tells in that glory once he was, had princes sit like stars about his throne, and he the sun for them to reverence, none that beheld him, but like lesser lights did veil their crowns to his supremacy. Where now his son, like a glowworm in the night, the which hath fire and darkness, none in light, whereby I see that times the King of men has both their parents and he is their grave, and gives them what he will, not what they crave.
What? Are you merry knights?
Who can be other in the royal presence?
Here with a cup that's stirred unto the brim, as do you love, filled to your mistress' lips, we drink this health to you.
We thank your grace.
Thank your grace.
Yet pause a while, yon knight do sit too melancholy, as if the entertainment in our court hath not a show might countervail his worth. Noted not you, Thaisa?
What is it to me, my father?
Oh, attend, my daughter. Princes in this should live like gods above, who freely give to everyone that comes to honor them. And princes not doing so are like to gnats, which make a sound but killed, are wondered at. Therefore, to make his entrance more sweet, here, say we drink this standing bowl of wine to him.
Alas, my father, it befits not me unto a stranger knight to be so bold. He may my proffer take for an offense, since men take women's gifts for impudence.
How? Do as I bid you, or you'll move me else.
Now by the gods, he could not please me better.
And furthermore, tell him we desire to know of him, of whence he is, his name and parentage.
The king, my father, sir, has drunk to you,
I thank him.
wishing it so much blood unto your life.
I thank both him and you, and pledge him freely.
And further, he desires to know of you, of whence you are, your name and parentage.
Gentleman of Tyre, my name Pericles. My education been in arts and arms, who looking for adventures in the world was by the rough sea reft of ships and men, and after shipwreck driven upon this shore.
He thanks your grace, names himself Pericles, a gentleman of Tyre, who, only by misfortune of the seas, bereft of ships and men, cast on the shore.
Now, by the gods, I pity his misfortune, and will awake him from his melancholy. Come, gentlemen, we sit too long on trifles, and waste the time which looks for other revels. Even in your armors, as you are addressed, we will become a soldier's stunt. I will not have excuse with saying this. Loud music is too harsh for ladies' heads, since they love men in arms as well as beds.
They dance.
So this was well asked. 'Twas so well performed, too. Come, sir, here's a lady that wants breathing too, and I have heard you knights of Tyre are excellent in making ladies trip, and that their measures are as excellent.
In those that practice them they are, my lord.
Oh, that's as much as you would be denied of your fair courtesy. Unclasp, unclasp.
They dance.
Thanks, gentlemen, to all. All have done well. But you, the best. Pages and lights, to conduct these knights unto their several lodgings. Yours, sir, we have given order to be next to our own.
I am at your grace's pleasure.
Princes, it is too late to talk of love, and that's the mark I know you level at. Therefore, each one betake him to his rest. Tomorrow, for all the speeding, do their best.
No, Escanes, know this of me. Antiochs from incest live not free, for which the Most High God's not mindly longer to withhold the vengeance that they had in store. Due to this heinous capital offense, even in the height and pride of all his glory, when he was seated in a chariot of an estimable value, and his daughter with him, a fire from heaven came and shriveled up those bodies even to loathing. For they so stunk that all those eyes adored them ere they fall, scorn now their hands should give them burial.
It was very strange.
And yet, but justice, for though this king were great, his greatness was no guard to bar heaven's shaft, but sin had his reward.
'Tis very true.
And in private conference or council has respect with him, but
They
me.
shall no longer grieve without reproof.
And cursed be he that will not second it. Follow me then, Lord Helicane, a word.
With me? And welcome happy day, my lords.
Know that our griefs are risen to the top, and now at length they overflow their banks.
Your griefs? For what? Wrong not your prince you love.
Wrong not yourself then, noble Helicon. But if the prince do live, let us salute him, or know what grounds made happy with his breath. If in the world he live, we'll seek him out. If in his grave he rest, we'll find him there, and be resolved he lives to govern us, or dead gives cause to mourn his funeral, and leave us to our free election.
Whose death indeed the strongest in our censure, and knowing this kingdom is without a head, like goodly buildings left without a roof, soon fall to ruin. Your noble self, that best know how to rule and how to reign, we thus submit unto our sovereign.
Live, noble Helicane!
Helicane.
Try honor's course. Forbear your suffrages. If that you love Prince Pericles, forbear. Take out your wish, I leap into the seas, whereas hardly trouble for a minute's ease. A 12th month longer, let me entreat you to forbear the absence of your king, if in which time expired, he not return. I shall with age patience bear your yoke. But if I cannot win you to this love, go search like noble subjects. And in your search, spend your adventurous worth, whom if you find and win unto return, you shall like diamonds sit about his crown.
To wisdom he's a fool that will not yield. And since Lord Helicane enjoineth us, we with our travels will endeavor.
Then you love us, we you, and will clasp hands. When peers thus knit, a kingdom ever stands.
Enter a king reading a letter. At one door the knights greet him. Good morrow to the good Simonides.
Knights, from my daughter, this I let you know, that for this 12 months she'll not undertake a married life. Her reason to herself is only known, which from her by no means can I get.
May we not get access to her, my lord?
Faith, by no means. She hath so strictly tied her to her chamber that 'tis impossible. 12 moons more she'll wear Diana's livery. This by the eye of Cynthia hath she vowed, and on her virgin honor will not break it.
Loath to bid farewell, we take our leaves.
So they are well dispatched. Now, to my daughter's letter. She tells me here, she'll wed the stranger knight, or never more to view nor day nor light. 'Tis well, mistress, your choice agrees with mine. I like that well. Nay, how absolute she's in it, not minding whether I dislike or no. Well, I do commend her choice, and will no longer have it be delayed. Soft, here he comes. I must dissemble it.
All fortune to the good Simonides.
To you as much. Sir, I am beholding to you for your sweet music this last night. I do protest my ears were never better fed with such delightful, pleasing harmony.
It is your grace's pleasure to commend, not my desert.
Sure, you are music's master.
The worst of all her scholars, my good lord.
Let me ask you one thing. What do you think of my daughter, sir?
A most virtuous princess.
And she is fair too, is she not?
As a fair day in summer, wondrous fair.
Sir, my daughter thinks very well of you. I so well that you must be her master, and she will be your scholar. Therefore, look to it.
I am unworthy for her schoolmaster.
She thinks not so. Peruse this writing else.
What's here? A letter that she loves the Knight of Tyre. It's the king's subtlety to have my life. Speak not to entrap me, gracious lord, a stranger, a distressed gentleman, that never aimed so high to love your daughter, but bent all offices to honor her.
Oh, thou hast bewitched my daughter, and thou art a villain.
By the gods, I have not. Never did thought of mine levy offense, nor never did my actions yet commence a deed might gain her love or your
Traitor,
displeasure.
thou liest.
Traitor?
I traitor.
Even in his throat, unless it be the king that calls me traitor, I return the lie.
No, by the gods, I do applaud his courage.
My actions are as noble as my thoughts that never relished of a base descent. I came unto your court for honor's cause, and not to be a rebel to her state. And he that otherwise accounts of me, this sword shall prove he's honor's enemy.
No, here comes my daughter. She can witness it.
Then, as you are as virtuous as fair, resolve your angry father, if my tongue did e'er solicit or my hand subscribe to any syllable that made love to you.
Why, sir, say if you had, who takes offense? At that, would that make me glad?
Say, mistress, are you so peremptory? I'm glad onto it with all my heart. I'll tame you. I'll bring you into subjection. Will you not, having my consent, bestow your love and affections upon a stranger who, for aught I know, may be, nor can I think the contrary, as great in blood as I myself? Therefore, hear you, mistress, either frame your will to mine, and you, sir, hear you, either be ruled by me, or I'll make you man and wife. Nay, come, your hands and lips must seal it too, and being joined, I'll thus your hopes destroy, and for further grief, God give you joy. What, are you both pleased?
Yes, if you love me, sir.
Even as my life, my blood that fosters it.
What? Are you both agreed?
Yes, if it please your majesty.
Yes, if it please your majesty.
It pleases me so well that I will see you wed, and then with what haste you can, get you to bed.
Now sleep be slack.
You want me to do it?
Now sleep be slack.
Back here.
Want me to do
Michael's
it?
back here, so Michael can take over.
For some reason, though, my face is blocked, and I don't know why that is. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, you can't see me. I've got an X over me, and I don't know why. Now sleep be slacked hath the rout. No din but snores about the house, made louder by the o'er-fed breasts of this most pompous marriage fest. The cattle with eyne of burning coal now crouches from the mouse's hole, and crickets sing at the oven's mouth, and the blither for their drouth Hymen has brought the bride to bed, whereupon the loss of maidenhead, a babe is molded. Be attent, and time that is so briefly spent with your fine fancies quaintly each. What's dumb in show, I'll plain with speech.
Enter Pericles and Simonides, all at one door with attendants. A messenger meets them, kneels, and gives Pericles a letter. Pericles shows it to Simonides. The lords kneel to him. Then entereth Thaisa with child, with Lycorida, a nurse. The king shows her the letter. She rejoices. She and Pericles take leave of her father and depart.
By many a daring and painful perch, of Pericles the careful search, by the foul opposing crimes which the world together joins, is made with all due diligence, that horse and sail and high expense can speed the quest at last from Tyre. Fain answering the most strange inquire, to the court of King Simonides are letters brought. The tenor these: Antiochus and his daughters dead. The men of Tyrus on the head of Helicnus would set on the crown of Tyre, but he will none. The mutiny he there has oppressed says to him, if King Pericles come not home in twice 6 moons, he obedient to their dooms will take the crown. The sum of this brought hither to Pentapolis, ravish the regions round, and every one with claps can sound, our heir apparent is a king. Who dreamt? Who thought of such a thing? Brief he must hence depart to Tyre. His queen with a child makes her desire, which who shall cross along to go, amid we all their dole and woe. Lycorida her nurse she takes, and so to sea their vessel shakes on Neptune's billow, half the flood, half their keeled cut. But fortune mood varies again. The grizzled north disgorges such a tempest force that as a duck for life that dives, so up and down the poor ship drives. The lady shrieks, and William just fall in travail with her fear. And what is Susan is fell storm shall for itself perform. I'll now relate, action may conveniently the rest convey, which might not, but by me is told, is your imagination hold. This stage, the ship upon whose deck the seas toss Pericles, appears to speak.
The God of this great, vast, rebuke these surges, which wash both heaven and hell, and thou that hast upon the wind's command, bind them in brass, having called them from the deep. O still thy deafening, dreadful thunders, gently quench thy nimble sulphurous flashes. Oh, how, Lycorida, how does my queen? Then storm venomously, wilt thou spit all thyself? The seaman's whistle is as a whisper in the ears of death. Unheard, Lycorida! Lucina, oh, divinest patroness, and by my wife gentle to those that cry by night, convey thy deity aboard our dancing boat. Make swift the pangs of my queen's travails. Now, Lycorida!
Here is a thing too young for such a place, who if it had conceit would die, as I'm like to do. Take in your arms this piece of your dead queen.
How, Lycorida?
Patience, good sir. Do not assist the storm. Here's all that is left living of your queen. A little daughter, for the sake of it, be manly and take comfort.
Oh, gods! Why do you make us love your goodly gifts and snatch them straight away? We here below recall not what we give, and therein may use honor with you.
Patience, good sir, even for this charge.
How mild may be thy life, for a more blusterous birth never had, babe. Quiet and gentle thy conditions, for thou art the rudeliest welcome to this world that ever was prince's child. Happy what follows, thou hast as chiding a nativity as fire, air, water, earth, and heaven can make to herald thee from the womb. Even at the first, thy loss is more than can thy portage quit, with all thou canst find here. Now the good gods throw their best eyes on thee.
What courage, sir! God save you!
Courage enough. I do not fear the flaw it hath done to me the worst. Yet for the love of this poor infant, this fresh new seafarer, I would be quiet.
Slake the bowlines there. Thou wilt not, wilt thou? Blow and split thyself. But sea boon and brine and cloudy billow kiss the moon, I care not. Sir, your queen must overboard. The sea works high, the wind is loud, and will not lie till the ship be cleared of the dead.
That's your superstition.
Pardon us, sir, with us at sea it hath been still observed, and we are strong in eastern, therefore briefly yield her.
As you think meet, for she must overboard straight, most wretched queen.
Here she lies, sir.
A terrible childbed hast thou, my dear, no light, no fire, the unfriendly elements forgot thee utterly, nor have I time to give thee hallowed to thy grave, but straight must cast thee, scarcely coffined, in oars, where for a monument upon thy bones the air remaining lamps, the belching whale, and humming water must o'erwhelm thy corpse, lying with simple shells. O Lycorida, bid Nestor bring me spices, ink and taper, my casket and my jewels, and bid Nicander bring me the satin coffin. Lay the babe upon the pillow. Hide thee whiles I say a priestly farewell to her. Suddenly, woman.
Sir, we have a chest beneath the hatches, caulked and bitumed ready.
I thank thee. Mariner, say what coast is this?
Ah, we are near Tharsis.
Thither, gentle mariner, alter thy course for Tyre. When canst thou reach it?
By break of day, if the wind cease.
Oh, make for Tharsis. I will visit Cleon, for the babe cannot hold out to Tarsus. And there I'll leave it at careful nursing. Go thy ways, good mariner. I'll bring the body presently.
Enter Lord Ceramon with a servant. Enter Philemon.
I'll jump in.
Philemon, ho!
Doth my lord call?
Get fire and meat for these poor men. It has been a turbulent and stormy night.
I have been in many, but such a night as this, till now I ne'er endure.
Your Meister will be dead ere you return. There's nothing can be ministered to nature that can recover him. Give this to the apothecary and tell me how it works.
Good morrow.
Good morrow to your lordship.
Gentlemen, why do you stir so early?
Sir, our lodging standing bleak upon the sea shook as the earth did quake. The very principles did seem to rend and all to topple. Pure surprise and fear made me to quit the house. That is the cause we trouble you so early. 'Tis not our husbandry.
Oh, you say well.
But I much marvel that your lordship, having rich tire about you, should at these early hours shake off the golden slumber of repose. 'Tis most strange. Nature should be so conversant with pain, being thereto not compelled.
I hold it ever virtue and cunning were endowments greater than nobleness and riches. Careless errors may the two latter darken and expend, but immortality attends the former, making a man a god. 'Tis known I ever have studied physic, through which secret art, by turning o'er authorities, I have, together with my practice, made familiar to me and to my aid the blessed infusions that dwells in vegetables, in metals, stones, and can speak of the disturbances that nature works, and of her cures, which doth give me a more contented course of true delight than to be thirsty after tottering honor, or tie my pleasure up in silken bags to please the fool and deaf.
Your honor has through Ephesus poured forth your charity, and hundreds call themselves your creatures, who by you have been restored. And not your knowledge, your personal pain, but even your purse still open hath built Lord Ceramon such strong renown. as time shall never.
Enter two or three with a chest. So, lift there.
What's that?
Sir, even now did the sea toss up upon our shore this chest. 'Tis of some wrack.
Set down. Let's look upon it.
'Tis like a coffin, sir.
Whate'er it be, 'tis wondrous heavy. Wrench it open straight. If the sea's stomach be o'ercharged with gold, 'tis a good constraint of fortune. It belches upon us.
'Tis so, my lord.
How close 'tis cocked and bottomed. Did the sea cast it up?
I never saw so huge a billow, sir, as tossed it upon the shore.
Wrench it open soft. It smells most sweetly in my sense,
A delicate odor.
as ever hit my nostril. So up with it. Oh, you most potent gods. What's here? A corse?
Most strange.
Shrouded in cloth of state, bounded and treasured with full bags of spices, a passport to Apollo, perfect me in the characters. Here I give to understand, if e'er this coffin drives a land, I, King Pericles, have lost this queen worth all our mundane cost. Who finds her, give her burying. She was the daughter of a king. Besides this treasure for a fee, the gods requite his charity. If thou livest, Pericles, thou hast the heart that ever cracks for woe this chanced tonight.
Most likely, sir.
Nay, certainly tonight. But look how fresh she looks. They were to rough it through her in the sea. Make a fire within. Fetch hither all my boxes in my closet. Death may usurp on nature many hours, and yet the fire of life kindle again the oppressed spirits. I heard of an Egyptian that had 9 hours lying dead, who was by good appliance recovered.
Enter one with napkins and fire.
Well said, well said. The fire and cloths, the rough and woeful music that we have, cause it to sound, beseech you. The viol once more. How thou stirrest, thou block! The music there, I pray you give her air. Gentlemen, this queen will live. Nature awakes a warm breath out of her. She hath not been entranced above 5 hours. See how she begins to blow into life's flower again.
The heavens through you increase our wonder and sets up your fame forever.
She is alive. Behold her eyelids, cases to those heavenly jewels which Pericles hath lost, begin to part their fringes of bright gold. The diamonds of a most praised water doth appear to make the world twice rich, live and make us weep. So to hear your fate, fair creature, rare as you seem to be.
She moves. Thaisa?
Oh, dear Diana, where am I? Where's my lord? What world is this?
Is not this strange?
Most rare.
Hush, my gentle neighbors, lend me your hands to the next chamber bear her. Get linen. Now this matter must be looked to, for her relapse is mortal. Come, come, and Asclepius guide us.
Most honored Cleon, I must needs be gone. My 12 months are expired, and Tyra stands in a litigious peace. You and your lady take from my heart all thankfulness. The gods make up the rest upon you.
Your shakes of fortune, though they haunt you mortally, yet glance full wonderingly on us.
Oh, your sweet queen, that the strict fates had pleased you had brought her hither to have blessed mine eyes with her.
We cannot but obey the powers above us. Could I rage and roar as doth the sea she lies in, yet the end must be as 'tis. My gentle babe Marina, for whom she was born at sea, I have named so. Here I charge your charity withal, leaving her the infant of your care, beseeching you to give her princely training, that she may be mannered as she is born.
Fear not, my lord, but think your grace that fed my country with your corn, for which the people's prayers still fall upon you. Mustn't your child be thought on? If neglection should therein make me vile, the common body by you will leave, will force me to my duty. But if to that my nature needs a spur, the gods are vengeance upon me and mine to the end of generation.
I believe you, your honor and your goodness teach me to it without your vows, till she be married, madam, by bright Diana, whom we honor. All unsistered shall this heir of mine remain, though I show will in't, so I take my leave. Good madam, make me blessed in your care in bringing up my child.
I have one myself, who should not be more dear to my respect than yours, my lord.
Madam, my thanks and prayers.
We'll bring your grace into the edge of the shore, then give you up to the masked Neptune and the gentlest winds of heaven.
I will embrace your offer. Come, dearest madam. Oh, no tears, Lycorida, no tears. Look to your little mistress, on whose grace you may depend hereafter. Come, my lord.
Madam, this letter and some certain jewels lay with you in your coffer, which are at your command. Know you the character?
It is my lord's. That I was shipped at sea, I well remember, even on my learning time. But whether they're delivered by the holy gods, I cannot rightly say. But since King Pericles, my wedded lord, I ne'er shall see again, a vast delivery will I take me to, and never more have joy.
Madam, if this you purpose as ye speak, Diana's temple is not distant far, where you may abide till your date expire. Moreover, if you please, a niece of mine shall there attend you.
My recompense is thanks, that's all. Yet my goodwill is great, though the gift small.
Let's just take a brief break here. I'm glad to see you're back, Michael. I just wanted to.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry I missed that. First scene is so good too. The first two scenes are so good, and I'm coming in very cold. So.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll just take like about 5 minutes and we'll be starting again at like 9:07.
I'm
just
curious.
Also,
I wasn't seen in that last scene I did. Did it communicate at all? I don't know.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was like the voice of God coming in.
What'd you see? The snap? You saw the snap thing, right?
You were a volleyball.
no,
No, it's the snap thing. And for some reason, when I went on and then I had time to figure it out, it said show picture snap or your photo. And I don't know why it did that. I can't figure any of this stuff out anymore. You try one new technology, and then yesterday I went on Facebook and I got this whole new format. Did that happen to you? Any of you guys? I got a new format, and I said, no, not another one. And now it went back to the one that it's been. Hi, Kevin.
Yeah. So thank you guys. This is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. So we'll just be getting started in a little under 5 minutes, and just one of the things, I don't know, Michael, if I told you or I just had listed it, that also wanted you to do pander in the later on in the part with Marina and that, and we'll just and I'll just, I guess, keep doing the first gentleman, and Mona, thank you for stepping in for the second gentleman.
You are definitely playing my lord of everyone else. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes. Well, because Mona is Mona's been with us many times, I mean, watching our readings, but now she's joining us. I think there was another one where you'd done it as well. So we just get the voice there.
Well, Paul, thank you for putting me in places where I can't do much damage.
Say the names. Lycarida? Like, how do you say her name? The nurse.
I mean,
Florida.
yeah, I think
Lycarida?
Lycorida. I think it's the emphasis on the first Lycorida.
Lycorida, Dionysa.
Michael,
right?
however you say
Thanks.
say it with authority.
Yes,
That's
for
it.
everything.
The rule
Authority,
is
you get away with it.
There you
And
go.
Philippine.
the CH is a ha.
Ha, like Hebrew. Ha.
you guys want to hear the story of the
All right.
world's greatest ad lib?
Dionysa.
Yes, Ben. Why don't you tell us?
I was rooming with a guy on tour once who had been an endless tour of Fiddler on the Roof. You'll see why this is relevant in a minute. So if you all know Fiddler on the Roof, there's this wedding scene. It's a big production number, and it keeps stopping so the rabbi can look up in the book. I'm not sure. And he opens the book, and everybody hovers around and waits for him to look up what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do and supposed to do and blah, blah, blah. So at one point, everything stops, and the rabbi, I have to look, and he opens the book. And this guy, I wish I had this on. I hope this is true. He swears that he said, look under. And like, you have a whole cast of people trying not to laugh. There's nothing funnier than trying not to laugh. I hope it's true. I hope he didn't make it up.
Yeah. Oh, look under.
By the way, the rule, I remember this from high school. What's amazing what sticks with you. High school English class. All these Greek names. The rule is you put the accent on the third to last syllable. However, the reason that doesn't always work is that Pericles was probably not Pericles. Ulysses was probably Ulysses, you see. So we say Ulysses, it's on the second to last syllable, but the name was probably Ulysses. So
Yes, and that is why the correct pronunciation is Antiochus, as in Antiochus Epiphanes.
probably, yeah.
You mean the second to last rather than next to last? Anti-penultimate.
No.
Well, we'll be getting started in less than a minute. I'm glad that we have.
I actually
Michael's
studied
face.
Greek, by the way.
So it's
So
the.
did I, Eleanor.
What?
I did also. So did I. I studied Koine Greek.
I studied ancient Greek. Homeric.
All right. So I did actually look up. I was trying to look up something if there is somebody who's done a thing about how to pronounce lots of names in Shakespeare plays, but for some reason they haven't done Pericles yet. So because
For
there are a
some
bunch of.
reason, maybe it's not as popular as some of the others.
That could very well be. There have been many. I think the only production I'd seen was a sort of student. Well, one at Shakespeare and Company on their sort of training stage. But anyways, it's 9:07, so let us get back now that we have. Unless anybody's got any questions before we begin for the second part.
You don't mind my dressing as a bog, I hope.
Well, it's what the role is. So.
Okay. Just checking in advance.
Sorry, I don't mean to be off topic. Who said that they studied ancient Greek at one point?
Me.
Oh, I did too. So I've never met anyone else.
Wow, we actually have three because Mona had also studied Greek.
Oh, really?
So
I mean,
that's
I don't
great.
remember any of it. I just remember like a phrase like "alaune tous bus," which meant like he drives the oxen. So I don't know where I'm going to use that, but
Very, very cool.
Great. All right. Well, on with the play. Enter Gower.
Imagine Pericles arrived at Tyre, welcomed and settled to his own desire. His woeful queen we leave at Ephesus, and to Diana there's a votress. Now to Marina, bend your mind, whom our fast-growing scene must find at Tharsis, and by Cleon trained in music, letters, with gain of education, of all that's gained of education, who has gained of education all the grace which makes high both the art and place general wonder. But alack, that monster envy off the rack of earned praise, Marina's life seems to take off by treason's knife. And in this kind our Cleon hath one daughter and a full-grown wench, even ripe for marriage light. This maid hight Philitine, and it is said for certain in our story she would ever with Marina be beat when they weaved the sletted silk, with fingers long, small, white as milk, or when she would with sharp needle wound the cambric, which she made more sound by hurting it, or when to the lute she sung and made the night bed mute, that still records with moan, or when she would with rich and constant pen veil to her mistress Diane still, this Philitine contends in skill with absolute Marina. So the dove of Paphos might with the crow thy feathers white, Marina gets all praises, which are paid as debts, and that is given. This so darks in Philitine all graceful marks, that Cleon's wife with envy rare, a present murderer, doth prepare for good Marina, that her daughter might stand peerless by this slaughter, the sooner her vile thoughts to steed. Nicorida, our nurse, is dead, and cursed Dionysa hath the pregnant instrument of wrath pressed for this blow the unborn event. I do commend to your content. Only I carried winged time, post one the lame feet of one rhyme, which nearly could I so convey, unless your thoughts went on my way. Dionysa doth appear with Leonine, a murderer.
Thy oath remember, thou hast sworn to do it. 'Tis but a blow which never shall be known. Thou canst not do a thing in the world so soon to yield thee so much profit. Let not conscience, which is but cold, inflaming thy love bosom, inflame too nicely. Nor let pity, which even women have cast off, melt thee, but be a soldier to thy purpose.
I will do, but yet she is a goodly creature.
The fitter than the gods should have her. Here she comes weeping for her only mistress' death. Thou art resolved?
I am resolved.
No, I will rob Tellus of her weave to strode thy green with flowers, the yellows, blues, the purple, violets, and marigolds shall as a carpet hang upon thy grave, while summer days doth last. Ay me, poor maid, born in a tempest, when my mother did this world to me, is a lasting storm, worrying me from my friends.
Oh, how now, Marina, why do you keep alone? How chance my daughter is not with you? Do not consume your blood with sorrowing. Have you a nurse of me? Oh, Lord, how your favors change with this unprofitable woe. Come, give me your flowers ere the sea mars. Walk with Leonie. The air is quick there, and it pierces and sharpens the stomach. Come, Leonie, take her by the arm, walk with her.
No, I pray you, I'll not bereave you of your servant.
Oh, come, come. I love the king your father, and yourself with more than foreign heart. We every day expect him here, when he shall come and find our paragon to our ports thus blasted. He will pent the breath of his great voyage, blame both my lord and me, that we have taken no care to your best courses. Go, I pray you, walk and be cheerful once again. Reserve that excellent complexion, which did steal the eyes of young and old. Care not for me, I can go home alone.
Well, I will go, but yet I have no desire to it.
Oh, come, come, I know 'tis good for you. Walk half an hour. Leonie, at the least, remember what I have said.
I warn you, madam.
I'll leave you, my sweet lady, for a while. Pray walk softly. Do not heat your blood. Well, I must take care of you.
My thanks, sweet madam. Is this wind westerly that blows?
Southwest.
When I was born, the wind was north.
What so?
My father, as nurses says, did never fear, but cried good seamen to the sailors, galling his kingly hands, hailing ropes and clasping to the mast, endured a sea that almost burst the deck.
When was this?
When I was born. Never was waves nor wind more violent, and from the latter tackle washes off a canvas climber. Ha says one wolt out, and with a dropping industry that they skip from stern to stern. The boatswain whistles, and the maester calls and trembles their confusion.
Come say your prayers.
What mean you?
If you require a little space for prayer, I grant it. Pray, but be not tedious, for the gods are quick of ear, and I am sworn to do my work with haste.
Why will you kill me?
To satisfy my lady.
Why would she have me killed now? As I can remember by my troth, I never did her hurt in all my life. I never spake a bad word, nor did ill turn to any living creature. Believe me, Law, I never killed a mouse nor hurt a fly. I trode upon a worm against my will, but I wept for it. How have I offended? Wherein my death might yield her any profit, or my life imply her any danger?
My commission is not to reason of the deed, but do.
You will not do it for all the world, I hope. You are well favored, and your looks foreshow you have a gentle heart. I saw you lately when you caught her in parting two that fought. Good sooth, it showed well in you. Do so now. Your lady seeks my life. Come, you between, and save poor me, the weaker.
I am sworn and will dispatch.
Enter pirates! Hold, villain! A prize! A prize! Half part, mates, half part, come! Let's have her aboard suddenly!
These rogue thieves served the great pirate Valdez, and they have seized Marina. Let her go. There's no hope she will return. I'll swear she's dead and thrown into the sea, but I'll see further. Perhaps they will but please themselves upon her, not carry her aboard if she remain. Whom they have ravaged must by me be slain. Into the three boards.
Pander, Michael, we have,
I could jump in for Pander.
okay.
Bout.
Sir.
Search the market narrowly. Meadow is full of gallants where it lost too much money this month by being too reckless.
You're muted, Bod.
We were never so much out of creatures. We can have but 4-3, and they can do no more than they can do. And they with continual action are even as good as rotten.
Therefore, let's have fresh ones. What ear we pay for them. If thee be not a conscience to be ushered in every trade, we shall never prosper.
Thou sayest true. 'Tis not a bringing up of poor bastards, as I think I have brought up some 11.
Aye, to 11. 1 to 11, and brought them down again. But shall I search the market?
What else, man? The stuff we have, a strong wind will blow it to pieces. They're so pitifully sodden.
Yeah, I'll say it's true. They're too unwholesome a conscience. The poor Transylvanian is dead that lay with a little bandage.
Aye, she quickly pooped him. She had made him roast meat for worms, but I'll go search the market.
3,000 or 4,000 check-ins were as pretty a proportion to live quietly and so give over.
Why to give over, I pray you? Is it a shame to get when we are old?
Oh, our credit comes not in like the commodity, nor the commodity wages not with the danger. Therefore, in all our youth, we could pick up some pretty estate. We're not amiss to keep our door hatched. Besides, the short terms we stand upon with the gods would be strong with us for giving o'er.
Come, other sorts offend as well as we.
As well as we, aye, and better too. We offend worse. Better is our profession any trade. It's no calling. For here comes Bolt.
Come your ways, my masters. You say she's a virgin. Oh, sir, we doubt it not. Master, I have gone through for this piece. You see if you like her so. If not, I have lost my earnest.
Bolt, has she any qualities?
She has a good face, speaks well, and has excellent good clothes. There's no further necessity of qualities can make her be refused.
What's your price, Bolt?
I cannot be bated 1 doit of 1,000 pieces.
Well, follow me, my masters. You shall have your money presently. Wife, take her in. Instruct her what she has to do, that she may not be raw in her entertainment.
Bolt, take you the marks of her, the color of her hair, complexion, height, her age, with warrant of her virginity, and cry, he that will give most shall have her first. Such a maiden heaven were no cheap thing if men were as they have been. Get this done as I command you.
Performance shall follow.
Alack, that Leonin was so slack, so slow he should have stroked and spoke, or that these pirates, not enough barbarous, had not o'erboard thrown me for to seek my mother.
Why lament you, pretty one?
That I am pretty?
Come, the gods have done their part in you.
I accuse them not.
You are light into my hands where you like to live.
The more my fault to scape his hands where I was to die.
Aye, and you shall live in pleasure.
No.
Yes, indeed shall you, and taste gentlemen of all fashions. You shall fare well. You shall have the difference of all complexions. What? Do you stop your ears?
Are you a woman?
What would you have me be, and I be not a woman?
An honest woman, or not a woman?
Married with the gosling. I think I shall have something to do with you. Come, you're a young foolish sapling and must be bowed as I would have you.
The gods defend me.
If it please the gods to defend you by men, then men must comfort you, men must feed you, men stir you up. Bolts returned. Now, sir, hast thou cried her through the market?
I have cried her almost to the number of her hairs. I have drawn her picture with my voice.
And I prithee tell me, how dost thou find the inclination of the people, especially of the younger sort?
Faith, they listen to me as they would have hearkened to their father's testament. There was a Spaniard's mouth watered, and he went to bed to her very description.
We shall have him here tomorrow with his best ruff on.
Oh, tonight. But, mistress, do you know the French knight that cores either hams?
Oh, Monsieur Pericles?
Oh, aye, he offered to cut a caper at the proclamation, but he made a groan at it and swore he would see her tomorrow.
Well, as for him, he brought his disease hither. Here he doth but repair it. I know he will come in our shadow to scatter his crowns in the sun.
Well, if we had every nation a traveler, we should lodge them with this sign.
Pray you come hither a while. You have fortunes coming upon you, mark me. You will seem to do that fearfully, which you commit willingly, despite profit, where you have most gain. To weep that you live as ye do makes pity in your lovers seldom, but that pity begets you a good opinion, and that opinion a mere profit.
I understand you not.
Oh, take her home, mistress, take her home. These blushes of hers must be quenched with some present practice.
Thou sayest true in faith, so they must, for your bride goes to that with shame, which is her way to go with warrant.
Faith, some do and some do not. But, mistress, if I have bargained for the joint,
Thou mayst cut a morsel off the spit.
I may so.
Who should deny it? Come, young one, I like the manner of your garments well.
Aye, by my faith, they shall not be changed yet.
Won't spend thou that in the town. Report what a sojourner we have. You'll lose nothing by custom. When nature framed this beast, she make thee a good turn. Therefore say what a paragon she is, and thou hast the harvest out of thine own report.
I warrant you, mistress, thunder shall not so awake the beds of eels as my giving out her beauty stirs up the lewdly inclined. I'll bring home some tonight.
Come your ways, follow me.
If fires be hot, knives sharp, or waters deep, untied I still my virgin knot will keep. Diana, I'd my purpose.
What have we to do with Diana? Pray you, will you go with us?
Why are you foolish? Can it be undone?
Oh, Dionysa, such a piece of slaughter. The sun and moon ne'er looked upon.
I think you'll turn a child again.
Right, chief lord of all the spacious world, I give it to undo the deed. Oh, lady, much less in blood than virtue. Yet a princess to equal any single crown that earth justice to compare. Oh, villain, Leonie, who thou hast poisoned too, if thou hast drunk to him, tad been a kindness becoming well thy face. What canst thou say when noble Pericles shall demand his child?
Oh, that she is dead. Nurses are not the fates to foster it, not ever to preserve. She died at night. I'll say so. Who can cross it unless you play the impious innocent, and for an honest attribute cry out, she died by foul play?
Oh, go to. Well, well. Of all the faults beneath the heavens, the gods do like this worst.
By one of those that thinks the petty wrens of Tharsis will fly hence and open this to Pericles, I do shame to think of what a noble strain you are, and of how coward a spirit.
To such proceeding, whoever but his approbation added, though not his prince consent, he did not flow from honorable courses.
Be it so then, yet none does know but you how she came dead. But none can know, Leonie being gone. She did disdain my child, and stood between her and her fortunes. None would look on her, but cast their gazes on Mariana's face, while ours was blurred at, and held a mock and not worth the time of day. It pierced me through and through. You call my course unnatural. You, not your child, well loving it, I find it, greets me as an enterprise of kindness performed to your sole daughter.
Heavens forgive it.
And as for Pericles, what should we say? We wept after her hearse, and yet we mourn. Her monument is almost finished, and her epitaph in glittering gold. Characters express a general prayer to her, and care in us at whose expense 'tis done.
Thou art like the harpy, which to betray doest with thine angel's face, cease with thine eagle's talents.
You're like one that superstitiously does swear to the gods that winter kills the flies, but yet I know your rule do as I advise.
Thus time we waste, and long leagues make short. Sail she's and cockles have and wish but fort, making to take our imagination. And from bourne to bourne, region to region, by you being pardoned, we commit no crime, to use one language in each several clime, where our scene seems to live. I do beseech you to learn of me, who stand with gaps, to teach you the stages of our story. Pericles is now again thwarting the wayward seas, attended on by many a lord and knight, to see his daughter, all his lives delight. While Helicanus goes along behind, is left to govern it. You bear in mind old scenes, whom Helicanus late advanced in time to great and high estate. Well-sailing ships and bounteous winds have brought this king to Tharsis. Think this pilot's thought. So with his steerage shall your thoughts roam, to fetch his daughter home, who first is gone, like motes and shadows. See them, move a while, your ears until your eyes I'll reconcile.
Enter Pericles at one door with all his train, Cleon and Dionysia at the other. Cleon shows Pericles the tomb, whereat Pericles makes lamentation, puts on sackcloth, and in a mighty passion departs.
See how belief may suffer by foul show. This borrowed passion stands for true old woe. And Pericles in sorrow, all devoured with sighs shot through, and biggest tears overshowered, leaves Tharsis, and again embarks. He swears never to wash his face, nor cut his hairs. He puts on sackcloth, and to sea he bears a tempest, which his mortal vessel tears. In it he rides it out. Now please you wit, the epitaph is from Marina writ by wicked Dionysa. The fairest, sweetest, and best lies here, who withered in her spring of year. She was of Tyrus, the king's daughter, on whom foul death had made a slaughter. Marina we shall call, and at her birth, Thetis being proud, swallowed some part of the earth. Therefore the earth fearing to be overflowed, has Thetis birth's child on the heavens bestowed. Wherefore she doth and swears shall never stint, make raging battery upon shores of flint. No visor doth become a black villainy, so swill as soft as tender flattery. Let Pericles believe his daughter's dead, and bear his course to be ordered by Lady Fortune, while our steer must play his daughter woe and heavily well a day in her unholy service. Patience then, and think you now are all in middling.
Did you ever hear the like? No, nor never shall do in such a place as this, she being once gone. But to have divinity preached there! Did you ever dream of such a thing?
No, come. I am for no more bawdy houses. Shall we go hear the Vestal sing?
I'll do anything now that is virtuous, but I am out of the road of rutting forever.
Well, I had rather than twice the worth of her she has not come near.
I fie upon her. She's able to freeze the god Priapus and undo a whole generation. We must either get her ravished or get rid of her, when she should do for clients her fitment and do me the kindness of our profession. She has me her quirks, her reasons, her master reasons, her prayers, her knees, that she would make a Puritan of the devil if he should cheapen a kiss of her.
Faith, I must ravish her, or she'll disfurnish us of all our cavaliera, and make our swearers priests.
The pox upon her agrees 6 for me.
Faith, there's no way to be rid on it but by the wake to the pox. Here comes the Lord Lysimachus Christ.
We should have both lord and lawn if the peevish baggage would but give way to customers.
Now, how a dozen of virginities?
Now the gods to bless your honor.
I am glad to see your honor in good health.
You may, so 'tis the better for you that your resorters stand upon sound legs. How now? Wholesome iniquity have you, that a man may deal with all and defy the surgeon?
We have here one, sir, if she would, but there never came her like in Metellina.
Well, if she'll do the deeds of darkness, thou would say.
Your honor knows what 'tis to say well enough.
Well, call forth, call forth.
For flesh and blood, sir, white and red, you shall see a rose, and she were a rose indeed if she had but...
What, prithee?
Oh, sir, I can be modest.
That dignity's the renown of a bard, no less than it gives a good report to a number to be chased.
Here comes that which grows to the stalk, never plucked yet, I can assure you. Is she not a fair creature?
Faith she would serve after a long voyage at sea. Well, there's for you. Leave us.
I beseech your honor, give me leave a word, and I'll have done presently.
I beseech you do.
First, I would have you note this is an honorable man.
I desire to find him so that I may worthily note him.
Next, he's the governor of this country and a man whom I am bound to.
If he govern the country, you are bound to him indeed. But how honorable he is in that, I know not.
Pray you, without any more virginal fencing, will you use him kindly? He will line your apron with gold.
What he will do graciously, I will thankfully receive.
Have you done?
My lord, she's not paced yet. You must take some pains to work her to your managed cup. We will leave his honor and her together. Go thy ways.
Now, pretty one, how long have you been at this trade?
What trade, sir?
Why, I cannot name, but I shall offend.
I cannot be offended with my trade. Please you to name it.
How long have you been of this profession?
Ever since I can remember.
Did you go to it so young? Were you a gamester at 5 or 7?
Earlier too, sir, if now I be one.
Why, the house you dwell in proclaims you to be a creature of sail.
Do you know this house to be a place of such resort, and will you come into it? I hear say you're of honorable parts and are the governor of this place.
Hath your principal made known unto you who I am?
Who is my principal?
Why, your here be woman, she that sets seeds and roots of shame and iniquity. Oh, you have heard something of my power, and so stand aloft for more serious wooing. But I protest to thee, pretty one, my authority shall not see thee, or else look friendly upon thee. Come, bring me to some private place. Come, come.
If you were born to honor, show it now. If put upon you, make the judgment good that thought you worthy of it.
How's this? How's this? Some more. Be sage.
For me, that am a maid, though most ungentle fortune have placed me in this sty, where since I came, diseases have been sold deeper than physic, that the gods would set me free from this unhallowed place, though they did change me to the meanest bird that flies in its pure air.
I did not think thou couldst have spoke so well. You dreamt thou couldst, had I brought hither a corrupted mind. Thy speech had altered it. Hold, here's gold for thee. Persevere in that clear way thou goest, and the gods strengthen thee.
The good gods preserve you.
For me, be you thoughten that I came with no ill intent. For to me the very doors and windows savor vilely. Fare thee well. Thou art a piece of virtue, and I doubt not but thy training hath been noble. Hold, here's more gold for thee. A curse upon him, die he, like a thief that robs thee of thy goodness. If thou dost hear it from me, it shall be for thy good.
I beseech your honor, one piece for me.
Avaunt thou, damn it, doorkeeper, thou house, but for this virgin that doth profit, would sink and overwhelm you. Away.
How's this? We must take another course with you. If your peevish chastity, which is not worth a breakfast in the cheapest country under the cope, shall undo a whole household, let me be gelded like a spaniel. Come your ways.
Whither you would have me?
I must have your maidenhead taken off, or the common hangman shall execute it. Come your way. We'll have no more gentlemen driven away. Come your ways, I say.
Anna, what's the matter?
Worse and worse, mistress. She has here spoken holy words to the Lord Lysimachus.
Oh, abominable.
He makes our profession as it were to stink afore the face of the gods.
Mary, hang her up forever.
The nobleman would have dealt with her like a nobleman, and she sent him away as cold as a snowball, saying his prayers too.
Oh, take her away. Use her at thy pleasure. Crack the glass of her virginity and make the rest malleable.
And if she were a thornier piece of ground than she is, she shall be plowed.
Hark, hark, you gods!
She conjures. Away with her, would she had never come within my doors. Mary, hang you. She's born to undo us. Will you not go the way of womankind? Mary, come up my dish of chastity with roseberry and bays.
Come, mistress, come your way with me,
Whither wilt thou have me?
to take from you the jewel you hold so dear.
Prithee, tell me one thing first.
Come now, your one thing.
What canst thou wish thine enemy to be?
Why, I could wish him to be my master, or rather my mistress.
Neither of these are so bad as thou art. Since they do better thee in their command, thou holdest a place for which the painedest fiend of hell would not in reputation change. Thou art the damned doorkeeper to every cuckoldstrel that comes inquiring for his tib, to the choleric fisting of every rogue. Thy ear is liable, thy food is such as hath been belched on by infected lungs.
What would you have me do? Go to the wars, would you? Where a man may serve 7 years for the loss of a leg and have not money enough in the end to buy him a wooden one.
Do anything but this thou dost. Empty old receptacles or common shores of filth, serve by indenture to the common hangman. Any of these ways are yet better than this. For what thou profest, a baboon could he speak, would own a name too dear, that the gods would safely deliver me from this place. Here's gold for thee. If that thy master would gain by me, proclaim that I can sing, weave, sew, and dance, and other ventures, which I'll keep from boast, and will undertake all these to teach. I doubt not this populous city will yield many scholars.
But can you teach all this you speak of?
Prove that I cannot. Take me home again, and prostitute me to the basest groom that doth frequent your house.
Well, I will see what I can do for thee. If I can place thee, I will.
But amongst honest women.
Faith, my acquaintance lies little amongst them. But since my master and mistress hath bought you, there's no going but by their consent. Therefore I will make them acquainted with your purpose, and I doubt not, but I shall find them tractable enough. Come, I'll do for thee what I can. Come your ways.
Marina, thus the bravo escapes and chances into an honest house. Our story says. She sings like one immortal, and she dances as goddess-like to her admired lays. Deep clerks, she's dumbs, and with her kneel composes nature's own shape of bud, bird, branch, or berry, that even her art sisters, the natural roses, her inkle, silk twine with the ruby cherry, the pupils lax, she none of her noble race, who power their bounty on her. And her gain she gives the cursed bawd. Here we her place, and to her father turn our thoughts again, where we left him on the sea, where there him left, we're driven before the winds, he has arrived, here where his daughter dwells. And on this coast supposes him now at anchor, the city strive, God Neptune's annual feast to keep from whence Lycamus Tyrian ship espies. His banners sable trim with rich expense, and to him in his barge with former highs, in your supposing once more put your sight of hairy Pericles, think this his bark, where what is done in action morph might shall discovered. Please you sit and hark.
Where is Lord Helicanus? He can resolve you. Oh, here he is, sir. There's a barge put off from Medellin, and in it Lysimachus, the governor, who craves to come aboard. What is your will?
That he have his, call up some gentlemen.
Oh, gentlemen, my lord calls. Doth your lordship call?
Gentlemen, there is some of worth would come aboard. I pray greet him fairly.
Ah, sir, this is the man that can in aught you would resolve you.
Hail, reverend sir, the gods preserve you.
And you to outlive the age I am and die as I would do.
You wish me well, being on shore, honoring of Neptune's triumphs, seeing this goodly vessel ride before us, I made to it, to know of whence you are.
First, what is your place?
I am the governor of this place you lie before.
Sir, our vessel is of Tyre. In it the king, a man whom for this 3 months have not spoken to anyone, nor taken sustenance to prorogue his grief.
On what ground is his distemperature?
'Twill be too tedious to repeat, but the main grief springs from the loss of a beloved daughter and a wife.
May we not see him?
You may, but bootless. Is your sight, he will not speak to any. Yet let me obtain my wish.
Behold him. This was a goodly person.
Tell the disaster that one more right drove him to this.
Sir King, all hail. The gods preserve you. Hail, royal sir.
It is in vain he will not speak to you.
Sir, we have a maid in Medellin, I durst wager, would win some words of him.
'Tis well bethought. She questionless with her sweet harmony and other chosen attractions would allure and make a battery through his defend parts, which now are midway stopped. She says she is as happy as the fairest of all, and her fellow maids now upon the levee shelter that abuts against the island's side.
Sure, all effortless, yet nothing will omit that bears recovery's name. But since your kindness we have stretched this far, let us beseech you that for our gold we may provision have, wherein we are not destitute for want, but weary for the staleness.
Oh, sir, a courtesy, which if we should deny, the most just God for every grass would send a caterpillar, and so inflict our province. Yet once more, let me entreat to know at large the cause of your king's sorrow.
Sit, sir, I will recount it to you, but see, I am prevented.
Oh, here's the lady I sent for. Welcome, fair one. Is not a goodly present?
She's a gallant lady.
She's such a one that, were I well assured, came of gentle kind and noble stock, I do wish no better choice, and think me rarely to wed, Fare on all goodness that consists in beauty. Expect even here, where is a kingly patient, if that thy prosperous and artificial fate can draw him but to answer thee in aught, thy sacred physic shall receive such pay as thy desires shall wish.
Sir, I will use my utmost skill in his recovery, provided that none but I and my companion maid be suffered to come near him.
Come, let us leave her, and the gods make her prosperous. Mark he your music?
No, nor look it on us.
See, she will speak to him.
Hail, sir, my lord, lend ear.
Huh?
I am a maid, my lord, that ne'er before invited eyes, but have been gazed on like a comet. She speaks, my lord, that maybe hath endured a grief might equal yours. If both were justly weighed, though wayward fortune did malign my state, my derivation from my ancestors, who stood equivalent with mighty kings, but time hath rooted out my parentage into the world, and augur'd casualties, bound me in servitude. I will desist, but there is something glows upon my cheek and whispers in mine ear, go not till he speak.
My fortune's parentage, good parentage to equal mine. Was it not thus? What say you?
I said, my lord, if you did know my parentage, you would not do me violence.
I do think so. Pray you, turn your eyes upon me. You're like something that... What countrywoman hear of these shows?
No, nor of any shows. Yet I was mortally brought forth, and am no other than I appear.
I am great with woe, and shall deliver weeping. My dearest wife was like this maid, and such a one my daughter might have been. My queen's square brows, her stature to an inch, as wand-like straight, as silver-voiced, her eyes as jewel-like, and cast as richly in pace and other Juno. Who starves the ear she feeds, and makes them hungry the more she gives them speech. Where do you live?
Where I am but a stranger from the deck, you may discern the place.
Where were you bred, and how achieved you these endowments, which you make more rich to owe?
If I should tell my history, it would seem like lies disdained in the reporting.
Prithee speak, falseness cannot come from thee, for thou lookst modest as justice, and thou seemst a palace for the crowned truth to dwell in. I will believe thee and make senses credit thy relation to points that seem impossible, for thou lookest like one I loved indeed. What were thy friends? Didst thou not stay when I did push thee back, which was when I perceived thee that thou camest from good descending?
So indeed I did.
Report thy parentage. I think thou saidst thou hadst been tossed from wrong to injury, and that thou thoughtst thy griefs might equal mine, if both were opened.
Some such thing I said, and said no more. But what my thoughts did warrant me was likely.
Tell thy story. If thine considered prove the thousandth part of my endurance, thou art a man, and I have suffered like a girl. Yet thou dost look like patience, gazing on kings' graves, and smiling extremity out of act. What were thy friends? How lost thou thy name, my most kind virgin? Recount, I do beseech thee. Come, sit by me.
My name is Marina.
I am mocked, and now by some insensate god sent hither to make the world to laugh at me.
Patience, good sir, or here I'll cease.
Nay, I'll be patient. Thou little knowst how thou dost startle me to call thyself Marina.
The name was given to me by one that some power, my father, and a king.
How a king's daughter and called Marina?
You said you would believe me, but not to be a troubler of your peace, I will end here.
But are you flesh and blood? Have you a working pulse and are no fairy? Motion well, speak on where were you born and wherefore called Marina?
Called Marina, for I was born at sea.
What sea? What mother?
My mother was the daughter of a king who died the minute I was born. As my good nurse, Lycuridas, hath oft delivered weeping.
Oh, stop there a little. This is the rarest dream that e'er dulled sleep did mock sad fools withal. This cannot be my daughter, buried. Where were you bred? I'll hear you more to the bottom of your story and never interrupt you.
You scorn believe me, 'twere best I did give o'er.
I will believe you by the syllable of what you shall deliver, yet give me leave. How came you in these parts? Where were you bred?
The king my father did in Tharsis leave me, till cruel Cleon and his wicked wife did seek to murder me. And having wooed a villain to attempt it, who having drawn to do it, a crew of pirates came and rescued me, brought me to Medellin. But good sir, whither will you have me? Why do you weep? It may be you think me an impostor, no good faith. I am the daughter of King Pericles, if good King Pericles be.
Helicanus!
Cause, my lord?
Thou art a grave and noble counselor, most wise and general. Tell me, if thou canst, what this maybe is, or what is like to be, that thus hath made me weep.
I know not. But here's the regent, Sir of Medellin, speaks nobly of her.
She never would tell her parentage being demanded. That she would sit still and weep.
Oh, Helicanus, strike me, honored sir, give me a gash, put me to present pain, lest this great sea of joys rushing upon me o'erbear the shores of my mortality and drown me with their sweetness. Oh, come hither, that thou begetst him that did thee beget. Thou wast born at sea, buried at Tharsis, and found at sea again. Helicanus, down on thy knees, thank the holy gods as loud as thunder threatens them. This is Marina. What was thy mother's name? Tell me, but that for truth can never be confirmed enough, though doubts did ever sleep.
First, sir, I pray, what is your title?
I am Pericles of Tyre, but tell me now my drowned queen's name, as in the rest of you said, thou hast been godlike perfect in the air of kingdoms, and another like to Pericles thy father.
Is it no more than your daughter? Then to say my mother's name was Thacia. Thacia was my mother who did end the minute I began.
Now blessings on thee. Rise. Thou art my child. Give me fresh garments, mine own Helicanus. She is not dead at Tharsis as she should have been by savage Cleon. She shall tell thee all when thou shalt kneel and justify in the knowledge. She is the very princess. Who's this?
Sir, 'tis the governor of Medellin, who, hearing of your melancholy state, did come to see you.
I embrace you. Give me my robes. I am wild in my beholding. Oh, heaven, bless my girl. But hark what music tell, Helicanus, my Marina. Tell him o'er point by point, for yet he seems to dote, how sure you are my daughter. What music?
My lord, I hear none.
None. The music of the spheres. List, my Marina.
It is not good to cross him. Give him way.
Rarest sounds. Do you not hear?
Music, my lord, I hear.
Most heavenly music. It nips me unto the listening, and thick slumber hangs upon my eyes. Let me rest.
A pillow for his head, so leave him all. Well, my companion friends, if this but answer to my just belief, I'll well remember you.
My temple stands in Ephesus. Hie thee thither, and do upon mine altar sacrifice. There, when my maiden priests are met together before the people all, Reveal how thou at sea did loose thy wife to mourn thy crosses with thy daughters. Call and give them repetition to the like, or perform my bidding, or thou livest in woe. Do it, and happy, by my silver bow, awake and tell thy dream.
Celestial Diana, goddess Argentine, I will obey thee. Helicanus,
Sir?
my purpose was for Tharsis, there to strike the inhospitable Cleon, but I am now for other services first. Towards Ephesus turn our blown sails. Eftsoons I'll tell thee why. Shall we refresh us, sir, upon your shore and give you gold for such provisions as our intents will need?
Sir, with all my heart. And when you come ashore, I have another slight.
You shall prevail, were it to woo my daughter, for it seems you have been noble towards her.
Sir, lend me your arm.
Come, my Marina.
Now, our sands are almost run. More a little and then done. This my last spoon. Give me. For such kindness must relieve thee, that you aptly will suppose what pageantry, what feast, what shows, much minstrels and pretty din the region made in Middlin to greet the king. So he thrived, that he is promised to be wived to fair Marina, but in no wise till he hath done his sacrifice, as Diane bade, where two being bound, the interim prey you all confound. In feathered briefness, sails are filed, and wishes fall out as they're wild. At Ephesus, the temple see, our king and all his company, that he can hither come so soon, is by your fancies thankful doom.
Hail, Diane, to perform thy just command, I here confess myself the king of Tyre, who frighted from my country, did wed at Pentapolis, with fair Thaisa. At sea in childbed died she, but brought forth a maid child called Marina, whom, O goddess, wears yet thy silver livery. She at Tharsis was nursed with Cleon, who at 14 years he sought to murder, but her better stars brought her to Metylene, against whose shores riding, her fortunes brought the maid board us, whereby her own most clear remembrance she made known herself, my daughter.
Voice and favor you are, O royal Pericles.
What means the mum? She dies. Help, gentlemen!
Noble sir, if you have told Diane's altar true, this is your wife.
Reverend Apira, no. I threw her overboard with these very arms.
Upon this coast, I warrant you.
Is most certain.
Look to the lady. Oh, she's but overjoyed. Early in blustering morn, this lady was thrown upon the shore. I oped the coffin, found there rich jewels, recovered her, and placed her here in Diane's temple.
May we see them?
Great sir, they shall be brought you to my house, whither I invite you. Look, Thaisa is recovered.
Oh, let me look, if he be none of mine. My sanctitite will to my sense bend no licentious ear, but curb it in spite of seeing. Oh, my lord, are you not Pericles? Like him you spake, like him you are. Did you not name a tempest of birth and death?
Voice of dead Thaisa.
That Thaisa I am, supposed dead and drowned.
My mortal Diane.
Now I know you better. When we with tears parted Pentapolis, the king my father gave you such a ring.
This no more, you gods, your present kindness makes my past miseries sports. It will do well that on the touching of her lips I may melt and no more be seen. Oh, come, be buried a second time within these arms.
My heart leaps to be gone into my mother's bosom.
Look who kneels here, flesh of thy flesh, Thaisa, thy burden at sea, and called Marina, for she was yielded there.
Blessed and mine own.
Hail, madam, and my queen.
I know you not.
You have heard me say that when I did fly from Tyre, I left behind an ancient substitute. Can you remember what I called the man? I have named him oft.
'Twas Helicanus then.
Still confirmation. Embraced him, dear Thaisa. This is he. Now do I long to hear how you were found, how possibly preserved, and who to thank besides the gods for this great miracle.
Lord Saruman, my lord, this man through whom the gods have shown their power, that can from first to last resolve you.
Reverend sir, the gods can have no mortal officer more like a god than you. Will you deliver how this dead queen relives?
I will, my lord. Beseech you first, go with me to my house, where shall be shown you all was found with her, how she came, placed here in the temple, no needful thing omitted.
Pure Diane, bless thee for thy vision, and will offer night oblations to thee, Thaisa. This prince, the fair betrothed of your daughter, shall marry her at Pentapolis, and now this ornament makes me look dismal. Will I clip to form? And what these 14 years no razor touched to grace thy marriage day, I'll beautify.
Lord Saruman hath letters of good credit. Sir, my father's dead.
Heavens make a star of him. Yet there, my queen, will celebrate their nuptials, and ourselves will in that kingdom spend our following days. Our son and daughter shall in Tyrus reign. Lord Saruman, we do our longing stay to hear the rest untold. Well, sir, leads the way.
In Antiochus and his daughter you have heard of monstrous lusts, the due and just reward. In Pericles, his queen and daughter seen, although assailed with fortune fierce and keen, virtue preferred from fell destruction's blast, led on by heaven and crowned with joy at last. In Helicanus may you well descry a figure of truth, of faith, of loyalty. In Reverend Saruman there well appears the worth that learned charity I wears. For wicked Cleon and his wife, when fame had spread his cursed deed, the honored name of Pericles to rage the city turned, that him and his, they in their palace, his palace burned. The gods for murder seemed so content to punish, although not done, but meant. So on your patience evermore attending, new joy wait on you. Here, our play has ended.
All right, well done, everyone. Thank you so much. Good job. Good job. Oh, thank you
Very,
all.
very, very cold reading. I apologize. I wasn't more prepared.
Well, that's part of instant Shakespeare. You know, we have to dive in and see trust the text to take us where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Thank you
It
so
can always
much.
be worse too. So it's like, you know, you just have to roll with it.
You said at the beginning, is this one of the ones that is disputed? What's the deal with that?
No, it's generally accepted as being one of them. It's just it's not part. It wasn't in the first folio. It was first published in quarto, although it was attributed to Shakespeare at the time, and it was included in the third folio. Actually, it was the second printing of the third folio. They added 7 plays which they attributed to Shakespeare, and Pericles is the only one of those 7 which people generally believe is written by Shakespeare, although it is also thought that this is done in collaboration, because this Pericles was also a novel written by George Wilkins that was like a very popular adventure novel with the basic story that then was then presented as a play. So I mean, it was sort of like adapted, and there's various. Don't know all the details, but they think that there are parts of it that were written more by Wilkins, and I think most of the later part with Marina they think is Shakespeare.
Yeah, but I noticed at the beginning, I didn't pay close attention. It seemed to be in pentameter with rhyming couplets, and then at the end it was free, or second half like free verse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I mean, it is actually generally thought of as being one of his later plays when he was much more, so, I mean, took a lot more liberties with the verse and wasn't as strict with things. So,
I think the one that gets me suspicious is when he starts naming people by numbers. That doesn't feel like Shakespeare. Like Timon is full of that in this too. I think that's a giveaway. He takes his time to name his people, doesn't he?
Okay.
Yes, Lucas Amos, Road to Broadway. Bye, everybody. Nice.
all right.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, yeah. Also, Jackie, though, I do want to let you know that there's going to be the Liz Estrada reading that Eleanor Foreman is going to be doing on September 30th, which is a modern adaptation of Liz Estrada, which Eleanor has gotten which Eleanor has gotten permission from the author to do his adaptation of it. And so we're going to do a reading of it on September 30th. It's going to be a Thursday at 7:30 reading, so that if any of you are interested in participating in that, please send an email to Eleanor about that. And
Gotcha.
Did you say it was called Liz Estrada?
yes.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, apparently, there has been another sort of adaptation, also with the same name, that was done off Broadway, but this is a different one from a West Coast writer, apparently. But anyways, thank you all, and thank you all. I'm going to stop the. Unless anybody's got any other things they want to say about Pericles before I end the live stream.
Yeah, I'd like to say something. A lot of nice work. A lot of nice work. And I think whether or not it is, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the thing glowing. Whether or not it's completely or only partially by Shakespeare, there's a lot of beautiful language and writing in it.
I agree, and I mean, I think that also, I mean, especially those scenes with Marina, where it's sort of like converting everybody. I mean, it's crazy. It's
Quick
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
I didn't notice. Does the free verse to couplets and blah, blah, does that change with the scene, with where they are or the kind of people they're talking to? I didn't notice.
I don't know.
Take a look.
Yeah, maybe more of the courtly scenes have more of the sort of rhyming couplets and the stronger verse, and then when it gets down to the end, it seems like there's less of it. I mean, it's sort of in a way is like his career, where in the beginning there's a lot more of the sort of regular structured rhymed couplets and verse, and then in the end it gets a little hairier.
Pardon the metaphor. I feel left out.
Sorry about that. A little wilder then. Sorry.
I gotta run.